New tonight on KGW News, call it the fight for the future of Oregon's farms.
We want to see the state of Oregon stop killing animals.
The push for a statewide vote that has farmers, tribes, hunters, and elected leaders all up in arms.
This is dangerous and misguided.
Plus, why a truck driver accused of hitting and killing a couple may never have his day in court.
There's no, well, this is what typically happens because it's so untypical.
Then how authorities tracked down a worker at PDX they say stole a checked bag with a gun inside. And later,
yeah, it's a humbling and inspiring experience, but what an honor.
A look at the up-close encounter between a surfer and a killer whale. But first tonight, welcome to the holiday weekend. If you're lucky enough, like a lot of folks, to have tomorrow off, David Molko with you on this Thursday night. Another beautiful evening in the Rose City. And you know what? Things are looking up because the forecast for the next few days, Matt, really couldn't be better.
It's been a great week and it's going to continue. And if you like it sunnier, then you're going to love what's coming our way. Salem right now, it is 64 degrees and it is a clear sky there. We've had a lot of cloudy nights at this time of the evening for all week long, but tonight is not the case. And we're also running quite a bit warmer, 6 degrees warmer in Portland, 10 degrees warmer in Hillsborough right now, 6 warmer in Salem. So everybody enjoying temperatures that have gotten quite the boost. Now, speaking of boosts, as we look towards the fireworks for Saturday night and the entire 4th of July weekend, starting tomorrow, it becomes sunny. Brief morning clouds, but should clear off, and we should end up with quite a bit of blue sky. Sunny and warm all weekend, and then pleasant on Saturday night with the temperatures and the sky for the fireworks show time, 8 to 10 p.m., 70s into the 60s, but it's going to be clear all night long. Sun goes down at 9:03, so again, a really good night Saturday night for everybody. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention what's going on back east with all the heat. These are the current temperatures. Keep in mind, it's 2 in the morning. It's still near 90 degrees in New York City. More on this later, David.
Makes you grateful to be in the Northwest. Thanks, Matt. New at 11, Portland police are asking for help finding a man with dementia who they believe may be in danger. They say 81-year-old Kenneth Jeffries was last seen around 6 this morning at the VA Medical Center in Southwest Portland. He had a bus pass with him at the time. Jeffries, who was 5'8" and 135 pounds, was wearing a blue T-shirt, a North Face sweatshirt, and black pants with duct tape on the knees. If you see him, you're asked to call 911. New tonight, an effort to make hunting and fishing a crime in Oregon, is one step closer to November ballot. That's after supporters, it appears, turned in more than enough signatures to put the issue to voters. Catherine Cook's in the newsroom. Catherine, on the surface, this feels pretty far-fetched.
Well, David, supporters call it a chance to end animal cruelty. Opponents say it could end Oregon's ag industry, and they're fighting it even before they know if it'll end up on the ballot.
No hunting, no fishing, no breeding or slaughtering livestock. A sample of restrictions Oregonians would need to abide by under a proposed ballot measure.
We want to see the state of Oregon stop killing animals.
David Michelson is chief petitioner for Initiative Petition 28. He and paid volunteers collected 142,000 signatures, more than the 117,000 needed to get it on the November ballot. They turned them in to the Secretary of State's office on Thursday. Come Monday, the state will begin verifying the signatures to see which ones are valid. They have until August 2nd to do that. This is Michelson's third attempt to get such an issue on the ballot. He hopes it'll finally be the year Oregonians will get to vote on it.
We're asking for a big shift. No one is pretending otherwise. And at the same time, our campaign is very confident that if 50% or more of Oregonians are wanting to stop killing animals, we can make sure that every Oregonian is still able to get their needs met through alternative strategies.
That this is dangerous and misguided. Proponents, it's pretty clear, want us to live a vegan lifestyle. And
Lauren Kenzie is with the Oregon Farm Bureau. They're preparing a statewide educational campaign opposing IP28. She doesn't think everyone who signed the petition knows what's actually at stake, including their steak.
So that steak you order won't be coming from a local ranch. It will be coming from out of the state. If you are a rancher, you are no longer breeding cattle because that is considered sexual assault or a criminal offense.
IP28 does include something called the Humane Transition Fund. Supporters say it would help Ranchers, for example, adapt if the state bans animal-based livelihoods. Kenzie calls that laughable.
You know, our ranchers in Eastern Oregon can't switch from cattle to carrots. It's really not that simple, and to suggest otherwise is pretty wild and outlandish.
Michelson suggests it just comes down to a mindset.
I don't think as many people have the confidence that we do, but we are quite confident we can get every human being's needs met while also not killing animals.
In downtown Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
The Secretary of State's office tells us this would be the only statewide ballot initiative if it ends up with enough valid signatures. Again, verifications start Monday, and you can actually watch a live stream of the process on the Election Division's YouTube page. David.
From cattle to carrots. That one's going to stay with me for a while.
Yeah.
Thanks, Catherine. Meanwhile, opponents of Washington's millionaires tax are also hoping for a statewide referendum this November. The tax, which the governor signed into law in March, goes into effect in 2029 and would require households to pay an extra 10%. Actually, it's 9.9, but close enough, on income over $1 million. The funding is supposed to go to schools and child care, but opponents say it is scaring millionaires out of the state and preventing businesses from moving in. Some farmers are concerned, too, fearing if they have a good year one year, instead of using proceeds to make up for bad years, they're going to be taxed.
All you're doing is replacing equipment that should have been replaced 5 years ago, and you're paying down your line of credit, hopefully, if your bank is still letting you bank with them, paying down principal on your farm debt. It's just, the economics are brutal.
The Secretary of State's office will begin validating signatures there as well. If voters choose to keep the tax, the state Supreme Court could have the final say. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, a contract worker at PDX has been charged with stealing a checked bag containing a gun, and this might not be a one-time thing. Terrell Overton is charged with theft of a firearm and felon in possession of a firearm after multiple people reported checked cases containing guns stolen at PDX throughout June. Authorities say one victim tracked his bag using an air tag, which led officers to the suspect Sunday in the airport worker parking lot. Both the FBI and Port of Portland are investigating. Washington's Department of Labor and Industries has opened 2 new investigations into pulp and paper mills in the state, one in Longview, another in Port Townsend. It says they use a similar process to the Nippon Dynawave plant where a chemical tank disaster killed 11 workers some 5 weeks ago. The tank there is now empty and set to be taken apart. Investigators at the state and federal levels will likely take months to determine what led up to the blast. The new inspections are being described as, quote, precautionary and focused on worker safety. And Portland police have arrested a man who they believe sexually abused 3 young girls over the course of years, and now they are looking for more potential victims. Police arrested 61-year-old Daniel Eggleston Wednesday on multiple felony charges. That's after officers say a woman came forward saying Eggleston sexually abused her numerous times between the ages of 3 and 12. He was also a volunteer. The suspect was at the child care center at Manor House Church, formerly known as City Bible Church. Over the course of a decade, the church, which is cooperating with the investigation, said there's no indication any abuse happened in connection with the suspect's work there, and that Eggleston is no longer connected with the church. Developing this evening, a truck driver charged in a deadly Central Oregon crash is now one step closer to deportation. That's after an immigration ruled he should be sent back to India. A judge, Kyle Aboshi, heard from the victim's family.
We're a perfect match.
For Elizabeth and Dennis Carter, their son and daughter-in-law's death was only the beginning. What followed is a maze of federal agencies, unanswered calls, and a case caught in the gaps of government.
It's such an unprecedented situation. There's no place to get answers. There's no, well, this is what typically happens because it's so untypical.
On November 24th, 2025, Billy Carter and his wife, Jennifer Lauer, crashed into a jackknife semi in Central Oregon. The newlywed couple died at the scene.
They were coming back from their honeymoon. They hadn't got to spend one night in their home as a married couple.
The truck driver, Rajinder Kumar, was charged with first-degree manslaughter and recklessly endangering another person. The 32-year-old, who was living and working illegally in the U.S., according to ICE, bailed out of jail and was arrested by ICE agents a few weeks later. On Wednesday, a federal immigration judge ordered Kumar's removal, sending him back to India, a decision that could mean he never faces trial on the criminal charges against him.
I'm gutted that it's in question whether or not 2 American citizens killed on American soil can be granted the dignity of a trial.
Federal Homeland Security highlighted the case in an April press release, suggesting it shows the flaws in our system when sanctuary states like Oregon clash with federal immigration policies. But for this mother and father, this case is bigger than bureaucracy. They want to know what happened. They want answers and want to see the man charged go to trial.
Skyla Boshi reporting there. Kumar has until the end of the month to challenge that removal order. At this point, it is unclear whether that criminal case against him would ever go to trial. New tonight, a judge sentenced a retired Portland police officer to 60 days in jail for assaulting and strangling a former girlfriend. Jimmy Price pleaded guilty last month to 2 different domestic violence charges. Price was a 27-year veteran of the Portland Police Bureau and retired in May. The Clackamas County DA's office saying Price was arrested in November after he assaulted his ex-girlfriend during what started as a verbal argument. Price also repeatedly violated a no-contact order, calling the victim and following her. In addition to jail time, Price was sentenced to 5 years probation and fined $10,000. A quick reminder, if you or someone you know is a domestic violence survivor, help is available 24/7. Here's a place to start. It's the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 800-799-7233.